Hey everyone, it's Road to Retire. In this video, I'm going to be talking about another Dave Ramsey topic. So the first Dave Ramsey topic I covered was, I think, around a month ago, maybe not that long, but Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps. And while there's some little nuances that I disagree with, generally I align with a lot of Dave Ramsey's views. For those who don't know who Dave Ramsey is, he's basically just like a financial, if you want to say, get out of debt. I don't want to call him guru, but basically he's in the business of trying to get you out of debt and build as much wealth as possible. So today, I'm all about the side hustles on this channel, right? If you're new to this channel, name's Road to Retire. All I'm trying to do is retire early, pretty self-explanatory. And I just cover all the different side hustles that I do on the site. So if you're interested, you can subscribe if you're new. But if you're not, let's just dive right into it since there are 27 ideas. So it's 27 side hustle ideas to earn extra cash. So let's scroll down and we'll start. So I'm just going to read them and I'm going to just give a little bit of commentary as to whether or not I think it's good, realistic, doable for many different people. The first one, drive for Lyft or Uber. If you like driving people and working when you want, check out Lyft or Uber. So right off the bat, this would not be for me at all. And I know a lot of people are in the same boat, but I don't like the idea of someone else getting in my car, a stranger, and I just drive. Like, who knows what they're going to do? I've heard so many horror stories, stuff that doesn't make the news, but just like through friends and family and connections of just sketchy Uber rides. And it's just not for me. First of all, I can't even do it, even if I wanted to, because I have a 2-door car and you need at least a 4-door car in order to participate. But yeah, as many people have probably already mentioned before, like you're going to depreciate your car pretty fast. You're constantly filling gas. You're going to need a lot of maintenance done to your car to make sure that it doesn't break down. So, and you have to keep your car clean, which would be a huge issue for me. So this one for me is completely out of the question. And you really have to question, is beating up your car worth it? If you have a car that's been paid off for many months, or maybe you have an electric car or something like that, maybe it is more beneficial for you to do something like this. But for me, no thank you. Number 2, deliver food. So this is going to be like the same thing, I would guess. By the way, I've never seen this before. I'm going through this list for the first time. So these are genuine reactions. So if I stutter a little bit, I'm sorry. Deliver food. So Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber Eats. So kind of similar to Uber, where you're probably going to depreciate your car pretty damn quickly, run it down, need a lot of gas, blah, blah, blah. But at least you don't have to deal with people, at least not driving them or having them in your car. Being very honest, I thought about giving it a shot, giving DoorDash a shot, see if it is worth it or not. I've done a lot of research on it, watching other YouTubers who specialize in it. And to me, the stuff that freaks me out the most is like going into like apartment complexes. And that's probably where you're going to get a lot of your business. If you go towards bigger cities, it's going to be a lot of apartment complexes or really tight driving areas or areas that are hard to park. And that just gives me anxiety just thinking about it. So I don't know if it's for me, but I have thought about it. If I could get stuff out in the rural area where I live in, I would consider it. Like if I could do like 4 deliveries and get like $20 or something, maybe I'd give it a shot. I got to do more research on my area, see if it's good, but I might sign up for that. But again, it's going to be a lot of car damage. Luckily, my car's been paid off for like 5 years now. It's a crappy 2-door, and I really don't care because the value of it's really low already. So maybe for me. Number 3, deliver groceries. Okay, so Instacart or Shipped, it's saying up to $22 an hour working for them. I don't know about 22 an hour, but I would say I'd be worried about doing delivery groceries because I feel like this is going to be a thing of the past pretty soon. I mean, all the groceries around me, grocery stores around me, and I don't live in like a developed like urban city or whatever. I live in a pretty rural area, and all the grocery stores around me have an online ordering where they pack it for you. You just got to drive. So I guess if you can't drive, that would be the benefit to deliver groceries. But I don't know. I feel like grocery stores are going to kind of like consolidate into just major chain grocery stores, and they're going to have services like this for a fee because it would just benefit them. So I don't know. I would be a little skeptical, but this is kind of along the lines of the deliver food and drive for Lyft and Uber. Obviously, a lot of wear and tear on your car. Let's see what we got next. Become a photographer. Seems like everyone with a smartphone thinks they're a pro photographer, but if you got photography talent, use those skills. How far does it go? So, become a photographer. I personally really want to do a lot of photography in my life because I like the idea of taking pictures of like nature and stuff. You can see kind of in the picture behind me, that's me in Sedona, Arizona. And I got hooked on like taking cool nature pictures, especially in desert environments. If you want to become a photographer, though, you really got to dedicate yourself to the craft. Not only do you have to be really good at what you do, but you really have to be able to market yourself. So when I see things like become a photographer, I almost see it less as a side hustle and more as like a business endeavor where it's going to become a little bit more than a side hustle. It might become like a second full-time job, essentially. So, if you're really good on it naturally and you already have all the camera equipment or whatever, then maybe you could do little things like side hustles, just like a gig or two, like once or twice a year. But other than that, I think it would be hard to do a side hustle. Tutor Online, Tutor Me, studypooltutor.com, $16 an hour. I think Tutor Online is kind of broad. I don't know. I guess you could say like if you have any skill set, you could sell it. But I think honestly a better route to go than Tutor Me or tutor.com would be YouTube, which is what I'm doing here. So if you're really specialized and really good at a niche, I think it would be you're building your own brand on YouTube and you could teach people, and teaching people things on YouTube gets a heck of a lot of views. So it could become very profitable, more profitable than $16 an hour. And that's probably up to $16 an hour. I think that would be the better route to go than something like tutor.com if you're going to try and teach people something. Become a transcriptionist. Now, I've heard if you look up side hustles, this is one that's going to come up all the time. And you listen to audio and then you type it out. For me personally, hell no. First of all, my hearing's not like perfect or whatever. I'm a pretty fast typer, so that wouldn't be an issue. But the thing is, I've tried this for like an hour, and no, it is so boring to me, and it is life sucking. And this is coming from someone who does Mechanical Turk and remote task and data annotation tech. I'm telling you right now, transcription is one of the worst, most boring jobs I've ever done in my life. I would never recommend it. And just as this is a bonus, I doubt they'll have this on the list. I tried doing a audiobook. I tried to narrate audiobooks because I had a much better microphone than this crappy one that I'm talking to now. About 3 or 4 years ago when I had my Dividend YouTube channel. It's this channel right now. You can look at old videos of it. But I tried to do audio narration, and even that, just reading the thing was a pain. It's just life sucking. It's just not fun. So I don't care how well that pays. I'm not doing it. Join a focus group or take surveys. Well, I have plenty of experience. I have plenty experience taking surveys. Focus group, I've heard good things about this. There's none around me. I have looked it up. If you're good enough, lucky enough, I should say, to get into one, yeah, by all means, go for it. You can make money. They are legit. You just got to do your research and make sure they are legitimate. Taking surveys, yeah, you can make extra cash online, but it's not going to be life-changing for the most part. But there are plenty of stuff. They say mypoints.com or Survey Junkie. I think updated nowadays would be Prolific. You can still do Mechanical Turk, doesn't pay as much. Those are the two sites that are pretty much known for their surveys. Prolific is now the big one, and you're pretty much guaranteed to be put on a wait list, so it might not even be worth it at this point. Number 8, teach English. Now, I would consider myself a good teacher. However, I don't know if this would pay enough for me to make it worth it. I mean, I would feel so bad because it's like, on some things that you work as a side hustle on, you're not going to necessarily give it like 100%. Like if I'm working on Mechanical Turk, I'm not going to be like 100% like, oh my God, like I'm so laser focused on Mechanical Turk. I would feel so bad if I like didn't do my best job trying to teach another person a valuable life skill. And especially if it's only going to give you like $20 an hour, I would be so hesitant to do something like that. For me, it's more of a morality thing. It's like, if this was like my full-time job, then absolutely, like, I'm going for it. But as a side hustle, which probably doesn't pay well, I don't know. I don't know if that's one that I would pursue. Rent your home or spare room on Airbnb. Now, Airbnb has been a hot topic for the past, 2 or 3 years in terms of people doing it, living off of it essentially, where it's just either buy a vacation home or you spare room. I had a buddy who did Airbnb and he rented out just a room in his house. And to me, that just creeps me out. It's the same thing as Uber for me. It just creeps me out to have a stranger living in your house. I know it's not living, I know it's temporary, but it's just, I don't personally trust that. Now, you can obviously make a crap ton of money, but Airbnb is also getting a bad rap right now because everyone's charging ridiculous cleaning fees. And it seems like you're getting all these hidden fees and people are just getting pissed off at Airbnb, where it's almost reverting back to people wanting to go to hotels. I think it just depends on the area and, is there even a hotel in some of these areas that you go to? Like there was in Sedona, but we ended up staying in an Airbnb because it was right next to a hiking trail, something that you could not get walking distance from a hotel there. So I think it's just a matter of personal preference, whether you want to go into an Airbnb when you're staying there. But in terms of hosting one, I mean, I personally don't like the idea of being like a landlord or having someone come into my house or whatever. So it's not for me personally, but if you got a spare room and it's something that you'd be willing to do, by all means, you can make a lot of money doing it. It's just, I wouldn't depend on the income and just be cognizant that there's going to be a lot of strange people coming in and out of your house. What have we got for number 10? Resell thrifted items. So, and it says do it on Amazon, eBay, ThredUp, GameStop. So this one you can do. It's just, I've noticed the only like thrift shop near me is Salvation Army, and Salvation Army, they don't give anything for cheap anymore. I know I see a bunch of people on TikTok going to Salvation Army and somehow getting, I'm sorry, not Salvation Army. I said the wrong thing. Goodwill. I see all these TikToks on Goodwill. I'm like, oh yeah, I picked this up. And it's like, these have to be Goodwills that haven't caught up to the rest of the national chain, because especially the one by me, I've seen it on their website, because Goodwill has a website where you can go and buy stuff in auction. And the reason they put it in auction is because they know it's worth more money. So for me, I like reselling video games. I have been selling video games on eBay now for a couple of years, but something that sells for $60 video game wise, you're not going to see it on the shelves in Goodwill anymore for like $2. It just doesn't happen anymore. They know it's worth it and they put it up for auction. Kudos to them, because they're going to try and maximize everything. But I think reselling thrifted items is getting harder and harder to do. It's becoming an oversaturated market, and the thrift stores themselves are becoming aware of what they are sitting on. So I think it's a harder market to crack, but it's still doable. Get paid for your creative talents. So this is like Fiverr, Upwork, 99 Designs. Yeah, absolutely. If you have a niche, there's so many targeted niches on something like a Fiverr or an Upwork where you typically tend to get really good results. YouTube's one of them. Like if you're really good at designing thumbnails, if you're really good at video editing, if you're really good at doing voiceover work, like it says here, you can make a good amount of money on these gig sites. Just be aware, you're going to have to really, first of all, it is getting oversaturated. So you're going to have to compete with a large amount of people unless you have a really specialized niche that you're good at. Second of all, you're going to have to establish yourself with really good reviews. So you might not be able to charge what you really want to charge early on. You're going to have to get a few sales for cheaper than you want just to build up a reputation. And then once you get a lot of good reviews, then you could start charging more. But just keep in mind that one might take a little bit of upscaling and sacrifice in the early stages. But if you have the ability, then by all means, it's a great way to make some money. Personal chef. Let me read this one. I want to see what if you could earn extra by double or tripling recipes? If you like the idea of prepping extra meals, let people at work, church, or your kids' school now you do this. Take on only as many clients as your kitchen. I mean, I think you would have to have a lot of time for this. It's basically saying like, oh, make a meal that you like and then times it by 4 or 5, the recipe, and then distribute those 4 to I think it would be harder to market yourself as a personal chef unless you're doing like catering events or you're going to like a private chef showing for like, I don't know, like a bachelorette party or something like that. But just in terms of like making small side hustle, I think that would be a little bit difficult. I mean, how do you market yourself? Do you go on like Facebook Marketplace and just say like, hey, I'll cook you a meal once or twice a week or something for like $10? I don't know. To me, that one would be a little bit harder. Babysit, yes, this one's self-explanatory. If you have the ability to do it for money, by all means, go ahead. I personally wouldn't do it, but you're not going to make a killing, but it is a good way to make side hustle money. I don't think this one I need to really go into too much detail on. Becoming user tester, so stuff like user testing analysis, try my UI. So you can make money. I've seen a lot of people try this route, and it is legitimate. You can make money. It's like $10 to $20 a pop, depending on the site and depending on the length of the video review they want you to do. For me, I don't know. I don't like the idea of being like tracked on camera, like people watching what I'm doing. I know I'm on YouTube and it's kind of like hypocritical for me to say that, but I just mean like, sometimes I like to just sit back and analyze something rather than just like do what I'm doing now and like click down and give my thoughts out loud, because sometimes I just do stutter and I get anxiety and it's just, some freak out about what I'm going to say sometimes. So I don't know if I would be the best kind of person for this. Plus, I'm the type of person to kind of be brutally honest about things. And yeah, I know they want honesty, but it's like my brutal honesty might be too much. I might start cursing a lot. I don't know. But user testing, you can make money off this. I've seen people make money off this. You're not going to get rich from it, but it is a good way to make a little bit of pocket money. Dog walk or pet sit. So obviously this one, you're going to have to be in a populated area. So for someone like me in a more rural area, it's not even an option. Pet sitting is, I would say, is harder to get. Dog walking, I've seen other people do and test out on TikTok and on YouTube. So it is doable. But again, unless you're doing it full time, you're not going to make a huge amount of money. Now, if you have a couple here and there and you can walk them on your lunch break or something like that, then cool. It's a great way to make a little bit of money. I'm not going to argue you can make money doing this. It's pretty obvious you can make money doing this. It's just, you're not going to be able to scale it or anything. Clean houses is hard work. Don't mind getting your hands dirty. Startup costs are low. You'll need tools and supplies. Yeah, you can make money. And I know not an in-law, well, kind of an in-law, I know does this as like a side hustle and charges like $100 an hour. So you can make really good money. It's just, look, I personally hate doing it to my own house. I'm not going to want to do it for other people's house. But if you don't mind it, and some people find great satisfaction in cleaning dirty houses, I get it. For me, it's like cutting the grass. A lot of people hate it, but I love it just because of the satisfaction of doing it. So if you get that same feeling with cleaning houses, by all means, go for it. You can make a good amount of money doing this. Like I said, I know someone making $100 an hour. So you do 3 hours of work, that's $300 in one day. That's awesome. That's amazing. So it is a good opportunity. Sell products on Etsy. Now, I personally have never used Etsy, but the common complaint I hear nowadays that sites like Etsy and Pinterest and whatnot, it's just all becoming people just either drop shipping their bullshit or these crappy products, and they're just ruining the sites, essentially just flooding it with their garbage. And I would say I would stick to the more traditional routes of like eBay and Amazon. I think it's more scalable. I think you can make more money. Even Mercari, I think, was a better option than Etsy. But I can't personally say this because I've never used Etsy in my experience. But I just, sell products is so vague, and you really need to know what you're doing in order to really scale it to the next level. And you can make a lot of money. It's just, I think there's better avenues than Etsy to sell products. Give music lessons. So that is a good idea if you were musically inclined. I'm not musically inclined, but I know people, I've watched people on YouTube do it. So yeah, if you're really good at piano, or if you're really good at just teaching how to read and play notes, that's a great opportunity. There's plenty of parents who want to give like private lessons to their child. So if you're musically inclined, this is a great way to make money. I imagine if you just did like 1 or 2 kids a week, or even adults or whatever, if they want guitar lessons or something, I imagine this is a pretty good scalable business where you can make a good amount of money for not doing too much work, and it's stuff that you're already knowledgeable on, so it's not really anxiety. You just have to be good at teaching it. So this could be really good if you're musically inclined. Do task for people. TaskRabbit or Handy. This one's kind of generic, and it's like, again, I think if you're going to be like, are you good at quick fix-it jobs? It says, I think if you're really good handyman, either you're going to charge way more than what you would get at TaskRabbit or Handy, or you're kind of have to advertise yourself as a little business, a self-proprietorship. So I don't know if going through TaskRabbit or Handy would be the best option, but again, how comfortable are you dealing with people? That's one thing. So it's just like, I don't know. To me, that would be a lot of work. 20, become a freelance writer or proofreader. So I minored in English, and I would say that I would find this kind of boring long term anyway, but I know you can make money doing it. I think proofreading in the future might fall victim to something like artificial intelligence. I mean, it's scary because it's like I have the Grammarly add on like Google Chrome here. And it's like if I'm typing something, it can automatically detect improper grammar or spelling, punctuation, all of that. And, do you really need a proofreader? I think like it's a dying industry, in my opinion. So I would just be a little aware. Writing, again, AI can write stuff, but I think writing's going to stay around for a long time. You still need that humane touch, I would say, to it. But proofreading, I don't know. I think proofreading's days are numbers. Let's plow through the last several here. I'm losing my voice because I'm getting dry, not drinking anything in between. Wash and detail cars, mow lawns. I've done mowing lawns in the past, just not for anyone else, but I've worked for a landscaping company. Like I said, I like cutting grass, so it's fun. And if you're willing to start your own little LLC, it can be great. Washing and detail cars, yes, that's something you can do on the side, and you don't need that many supplies. I've seen kids on TikTok do this, so you can make a good amount of money. It doesn't take that long, and you typically get recurring customers. Become a coach. I would love this, but at the same time, I don't think I have the patience to, especially if I'm just in it for the money. You really have to either like have a child in it or strive to become a coach in a better league or whatever you say. Like if you start at kids and you have aspirations to coach high school, then college or something, I would say you really have to be into it, or you have to have a kid. If you're doing it for the money, becoming a coach, you're in it for the wrong reasons, and it wouldn't be that great of a side hustle then. Deliver packages with Amazon Flex. Keep in mind, you have to be in a really populated city to even have this option as a side hustle, but you can make good money. Sell baked goods. How much money are you really going to make from selling cookies and pies? This is kind of like the selling the extra food thing. I mean, you really got to advertise yourself. And I had a cousin who would make custom cakes. So it is doable. It's just you really got to market yourself, get positive reviews before anyone does that. And at the same time, it's like you really have to perfect one form of it, or else people aren't going to take you seriously. They want the best cake. You better make them the best cake, or else you'll never get business again. So it's one of those things. I would see that more. You can make some good money, but you got to be really good at it. Do makeup for special events. Obviously, as a guy, a straight guy, I have no desire to do that. Become an event planner. That one seems a little bit too generic for me, but event planner sounds more like a full-time job than it does like a side hustle. But maybe I'm wrong. I've never seen anyone do it on TikTok or YouTube, talk about being an event planner. So yeah, these were the 27 side hustles. I'll put the link to this down below in the description so you can click it if you want to look at it yourself. A lot of these, some of them are very good, and some of them you can scale to make a lot of money. Some of them are just strictly like beer money side hustle type jobs where it's like, maybe you'll get $100 a week, but you can't make more than that. Just keep in mind, whenever you're researching side hustles, it's like, what exactly do you want to get out of your side hustle? Do you want it to be a scalable thing long term, or do you just want to make a little bit of pocket change here and there? That's what's completely going to guide you on what type of side hustle you think is best for you. So hope you enjoyed this video. I always enjoy going over Dave Ramsey's stuff. I think he has a lot of good points and a lot of smart ideas. So If you like this video, leave a like down below. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll see everyone in the next one.